I'm going to speak on a topic that might be a little on the sensitive side. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to say might be. It is on the sensitive side, you know? I am a mother of one child. I have a daughter whom I love dearly. Wow, I love her bad. I love her bad, you know? So I don't know what it's like to have more than one child, but I can imagine that if I had more than one child, let's say if I had 5 children, that I'm only a human and my children are human and we all have different personalities. I'm probably going to adapt more to some of them than I do to others. I probably get along with some of them more than I do with others. Therefore, my communication and my outings with that child would probably be a little different because we take to each other more. Maybe the other child is not even interested. Like, you know, they just in their own little world or whatever the case may be. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, I'm the mother of one child, but I'm the sibling of many. And I grew up around people who were the siblings of many. I've having grown up around people who had as many siblings as I have had, you know. But nonetheless, I have seen what I consider to be favoritism. There's a difference between having a favorite child who you know, get along with more than you get along with the others, or, you know, communicate with more and be around more. But when it comes to treating the children differently, that I have a problem with. You know, for me, growing up, if a parent, like, you know, is more closer to one child than another, I have absolutely no problem with that. Doesn't bother me, not even a lick. Anybody can grab their crystal ball and look into that, you know. But what will bother me is when I'm out in the world and stuff like that is when I see favoritism, like one child gets treated differently than the other child. I was even in a relationship with somebody where it was a guy, he had 2 daughters and a son, and he treated one daughter better than he treated the other child. And this is, and let me give you examples of this. Let's say they both got in trouble in school for the same exact thing, same day or different days. One to get a little lashing with the tongue, the other be on punishment all week long for the same exact thing, you know? Or like one of them gets in a certain type of trouble and, you know, it's, well, you should have did that. I told you about that all your life. I told you about that. I told you don't do that, you know? And that child has to sit with that, what they did, the consequences of their actions. Next child does the same exact thing. Oh my God, we got to go help such and such. We got to get them out of this situation. You know, stuff like that. That is unhealthy, and it is toxic. You know, I believe in fairness. I believe in righteousness. I believe in, you know, justness. I believe that each child that you should have the same exact treatment. Now, I'm not talking about if you told one of them children 1,000 times to stop doing something and you had to penalize them a little bit differently than you penalize the other child. I'm talking about when they do the same exact thing, getting the same types of troubles, you know, and you treat them differently. I've seen situations where, you know, people have gotten into one child has gotten into the massive troubles. Massive troubles. And the parent to be there for them back to back to back. Oh my God, my baby. Oh my God, everybody say a prayer. Oh my God, this. Oh my God. And then, you know, the child that don't get in trouble as often, or, you know what I'm saying, if they do get in trouble as often, but not to the extent that the other child does, you know, it's like, you shouldn't have did that. I don't know what you're going to do about that, but you shouldn't have did that, you know? Talk about you to the whole family about it. Tell you all your business. Call up, have conversations about it with people on the phone. But they don't want to hear about it if somebody mentioned that about their favorite child, you know? But what I'm saying is if you're doing that, stop that. Stop. Because the effect that it has on your child in the long run is not good. And this is no shot at anybody. I'm a wise person in certain areas. I've seen some things, and I've seen the outcomes of these things. When you show favoritism to one child and not the other, you are teaching them to treat themselves the same exact way. Yeah. When that one favorite child doesn't want to do something, so you go tell the other child to do it, and the other child doesn't want to do it, but you're telling them to do it anyway, and you're constantly doing that. Your favorite child doesn't want to wash the dishes, so you tell the other child to do it. Your favorite child doesn't want to sweep the floor, so you tell the other child to do it. Whatever, and you're training your child to put themselves last, and that's not right. Because when they're in their adulthood, they got to grow up and deal with them issues of putting themselves last. And that might sound light, but it's not. It's not. You know how much shadow work you have to go through? You know how much spiritual strength you have to have? You know how much looking for love in all the wrong places you got to go through before you come to the place like, I am love. I'm that motherfucker. You better get right before you even come over here. I should have had your child somewhere putting up with just about anything for the attention that you was not giving them. Going all out for somebody and forgetting all about theyself like you did. And that's not fair. Because let's face it. Look how some people leave this earth. Some people never make it out of that. Not everybody's strong enough to do shadow work. Not everybody, even though they have it. When you be like a certain way for so long, you just start thinking that that's who you are. And some of us are fortunate to realize like, nah, this ain't it. Some of us are fortunate enough to be connected to the Most High. Give you nudges like, baby girl, my son, that is not the right way. So this is my message for the night. Like, treat your children fairly. I'm not saying don't adapt to the child that you adapt to the most and y'all get along. That's all fine and dandy. But treat them fairly. They wind up having issues with neglect. It also creates generational curses. Having that in their DNA, then they having kids and they having kids. And somebody got to break it. So start with yourself. Treat your kids fairly. Like I said, no shots to nobody. We just take what we learn and we share it. Love y'all. Have a good night.